Tonight on CTV News at 6, after years of asking, condo owners have a new tool.
Affordable, timely access to justice for condo owners.
Keeping disputes out of court. Chinatown Checkup, a revitalization report card for City Council.
We're not asking you to save Chinatown. We're showing that Chinatown is already stepping up.
And from Edmonton to Italy, Paralympic athletes get ready to go for gold.
We're going to make Canada proud, and we're excited to showcase the game.
Nice to see a little bit of sunshine break through the clouds today. Temperatures should break onto the positive side of the thermometer tomorrow as a warming trend kicks in.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. After years of consultation, Alberta condo owners will soon have access to a dispute resolution tribunal. The province says it will be more affordable and efficient than going to court. Miriam Valdez-Carletti has the details.
Condo owners can soon choose to skip the court system when trying to settle a dispute. A dispute resolution tribunal is coming this spring, similar to what BC and Ontario already have.
That can be costly and it can be time-consuming. So having a condo tribunal dispute mechanism is going to give affordable, timely access to justice for condo owners.
The tribunal will also be able to handle issues over money sanctions, access to documents, and annual and special general meetings.
They're not going to be spending tens of thousands of dollars in special assessments down the road to fix something that should have been built properly in the first place.
Another change the province is making is requiring developers to get a technical analysis by an independent engineer or architect of new condos.
We know that condo owners, for many of them, it's their first home, and so they want to have some visibility to what future repair bills might look like and give them a chance to plan and prepare.
The local branch of the Canadian Condominium Institute says the tribunal has been the #1 ask for condo owners.
We're pleased to see that it will be a bit more of a limited jurisdiction when it first rolls out to really get the tribunal's feet wet and make sure that things can get processed in a reasonable amount of time.
Condo lawyer Roberto Noche says people can still get legal representation with this tribunal.
Opinions and feelings don't really play well in a tribunal because the tribunal has to make decisions based on evidence.
Filing an application will cost $150. Condo owners will also be asked for an annual $9 fee as of April 1st to fund the tribunal.
That $9 is $9 today. Over time it will increase because costs will eventually increase. So it's not a free service. It's a service that owners will pay whether they use it or not.
The province didn't give an exact date of when the tribunal will start this spring. Applications will only be accepted then. Owners will then have 1 year from the dispute to file an application. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta Teachers Association is in court this week arguing Bill 2, the Back to School Act, should be suspended. The union is seeking an injunction pending the outcome of a broader legal challenge on the province's use of the notwithstanding clause. The clause was used in Bill 2 in October to force striking teachers back to work. The union says the move trampled the fundamental freedoms of teachers. The full hearing on its constitutionality is scheduled for September. A decision on the injunction is expected next week. If granted, it would mean teachers could legally resume strike action. Edmonton Public Schools wants to hire more than 300 teachers and educational assistants before the end of the school year. The division is looking to hire 101 teachers and 202 educational assistants to make up 3-person complexity teams. It hopes to have the teams in place by April. Money for the teams was allocated by the province in February, using leftover money from last year's budget. The complexity teams will add assistance in classrooms by helping to calm students, assisting kids who are learning English, and offering additional activities. EPSB says it's expediting the teacher hiring process and doubling the number of participants in its educational assistant internship program. It's been nearly 4 years since 2 men were killed in Chinatown on the same day, which reignited calls for the city to do more to support the area. Today, councillors heard feedback from community members on the investments the city has made since and what more can be done to revitalize Chinatown. Jeremy Thompson reports.
This mural, dubbed the White Tiger of the West, is one example of how Chinatown is changing. Art installations, festivals, dining events, and the like are happening more often as people there make the most of the city's $480,000 vibrancy fund.
A lot of performances, celebrations, just a lot of happiness happening, right? And that's what we want to see.
City Council has made a deliberate effort to support Chinatown since 2 men were killed there on the same day in May 2022. First, a $1 million post-pandemic recovery fund fueled cultural events and many security upgrades for businesses. Recovery gave way to vibrancy efforts in 2024.
Really appreciate the work that's been happening to date in Chinatown. We've been seeing progress. More needs to happen.
Council intends to keep the vibrancy fund going through 2030. Its executive committee heard from community members on where to focus those dollars.
We're not asking you to save Chinatown. We're showing that Chinatown is already stepping up. Invest in that. Partner with that. Walk with that.
I've been seeing the positive change. At the same time, when I'm out there later at night, you can see a lot of folks that are still struggling, especially around the shelters.
Addiction, homelessness, and cleanliness are still major concerns in Chinatown, making it hard to shake the stigma around safety. Councillors asked city staff for a report on a possible community cleanup program.
There's a lot of things happening in Chinatown that's out of the city's control. But I do think cleanliness is something that is within our control, and I very much welcome new creative solutions.
Councillor Tang also wants to explore removing this old rail bridge and offering housing incentives for the area.
Over the years, we've invested in lots of different things, but I think infrastructure, capital upgrades is really important.
Between neighborhood renewal, replacing the Harbin Gate, and overhauling Mary Burley Park, the city is already spending more than $80 million on infrastructure in Chinatown, a new foundation for the community's future. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Calgary's mayor is floating the idea of a plebiscite to push back against property tax hikes imposed by the Alberta government. Last week's provincial budget included substantial property tax increases for Edmonton and Calgary. Jeremy Farkas had a special meeting today to discuss what the city can possibly do about it. He says Calgary isn't seeing a return in investments coming back from the province. He compared the situation to federal equalization and says maybe it's time a plebiscite be held about payments to the province, similar to a provincial referendum question about equalization 5 years ago.
We want to be willing partners to be able to partner when we can. We want to partner as much as we possibly can, but we're willing to push back as well when we have to. And to see this level of overtaxation and underrepresentation, it begs some serious questions.
While the idea was discussed, no formal motion was made to start the process. The province's warning of potential measles exposures last week at the Stollery Children's Hospital and University of Alberta Hospital. The alert covers multiple places in the Stollery and U of A hospitals, including the public area near 112th Street entrance and both emergency departments. Anyone in those places Wednesday between 8:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. and on Saturday between 5:20 a.m. and 3 p.m. should monitor for symptoms. Symptoms include a fever, cough, runny nose, and a rash, usually beginning behind the ears and on the face. If you develop measles symptoms, you should call the measles hotline before visiting a hospital or doctor's office. Firefighters ascended to the roof of Fire Hall 2 in St. Albert this morning for an annual fundraiser. They're spending 3 nights there to raise money for Muscular Dystrophy Canada. The disease causes muscles to become weaker and lose mass over time. Camping out in the cold can simulate the challenges facing people with muscular dystrophy. The participating firefighters will be making the most of it.
I'll DJ this event as well, so I also love playing music, and it keeps the spirits high. When it gets colder, when it's darker, getting some music, getting some movement, gets the people going.
Firefighters are hoping to surpass funds raised last year by collecting more than $50,000. In-person donations are encouraged. You can also give online. The newest member of the Edmonton Oilers has arrived. On Monday, the Oilers traded a second-round pick to the Blackhawks for defenseman Connor Murphy. He arrived in Edmonton late yesterday. The 32-year-old has reached the playoffs once in his career and says winning is his top priority. He's excited to be in Edmonton and says he'll embrace his role as a shutdown defenseman.
That's kind of all I've done. Yeah, it's my career has been a lot of penalty killing and defensive zone time. Not intentionally being the D zone a lot, but sometimes we were in Chicago, and just where I'm comfortable, honestly, is more of my defending and using my instincts that way. And I've settled into that role for a few years now and been really comfortable doing it.
The Oilers' next game is Friday against the Carolina Hurricanes. The NHL trade deadline is also Friday. And by Friday, it will be warmer, right, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, by tomorrow, should be back above zero. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, well above the freezing mark. I think Saturday's probably the warmest day that we'll see over the next 5. Outside right now, we got to -9 for a high earlier this afternoon, -11 currently downtown Edmonton and across most of the region. A little cooler off to the east and northeast. Wind chill has not been a huge factor in the city. Wind has been a little stronger, though, outside the city. So you get a couple spots where the wind chill is close to -20 currently. -2, the average daytime high will not just get back to average, but above average by a handful of degrees tomorrow. We started the day at -17. I think we'll probably slip to about -13 here late this evening, and then temperatures will start to climb overnight tonight. Nice to see some sunshine breaking through the clouds earlier in the day today. There is a little thicker cloud, though, just off to the west of the city. And right now seeing a few flurries that have popped up there in the Edson area and moved off towards Drayton Valley. I think all of that falls apart as it approaches the Edmonton area. So just some clouds through this evening and overnight tonight. Low of -13, maybe -14. And then by tomorrow morning, should be back to -10. Look at that, above zero. The first time since March 1st, which actually wasn't all that long ago. 2 or 3 for a daytime high tomorrow. Big warm up on the way for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll tell you just how warm in just a couple minutes.
Looks great. Thanks, Josh. Still to come, wiring up something fun.
They're tinkerers by trade. They like opening stuff up and seeing what's in it. This is just kind of adding back to it, tinkering to put something back together. That's fun for kids.
The EPS bomb unit uses its expertise to hardwire electronic beeping Easter eggs, how they plan to use them, and
they're still preying on urgency. They're still putting out bait about some sort of tax return or prize, but they're using AI to facilitate it.
How fraud is becoming more dangerous thanks to artificial intelligence.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Thursday on Your Morning, self-ageism and why women may be doing it without realizing, plus medical advice for those with menopause and perimenopause, and how having friends may help you live longer.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Police are reminding Albertans fraud can impact anyone in any stage of life, especially as artificial intelligence becomes more prevalent. Edmonton Police and RCMP mark the start of Fraud Prevention Month with an information session today. Police say AI is making scams more dangerous because it can polish scammers' language, create a highly personalized message, and fake voices. You could still look out for fraud tactics, which are almost always the same.
They're still preying on urgency. They're still putting out bait about some sort of tax return or prize, but they're using AI to facilitate it. So as long as you can identify kind of that underlying fraud tactic of making you act before you think, the AI is just a component of it.
RCMP says once fraud is successful, money is usually unrecoverable. It also says prosecuting fraud can be difficult, particularly if it originates overseas. The Edmonton Police Service Bomb Unit is gearing up for a very important mission, its annual Beeping Egg Project. It gives kids who are visually impaired a chance to take part in an Easter egg hunt. Amanda Anderson has the story.
This mission isn't about diffusing devices. Instead, the Edmonton Police Bomb Unit is infusing sound into these bright-colored eggs.
They're tinkerers by trade. They like opening stuff up and seeing what's in it. This is just kind of adding back to it, tinkering to put something back together. That's fun for kids.
The team will make 60 beeping eggs to add to its collection of 200 made over the years.
Shells are all custom printed on a 3D printer. What's nice with this, the newer, smaller egg that we're using this year is that it's an even simpler circuit of just connecting wires to the switch and a battery.
Later this month, the team will hide the eggs as part of an Easter egg hunt for kids who are visually impaired.
They weren't able to participate in Easter egg hunts because they can't see the eggs, but these Easter eggs that emit this auditory sound allows them to participate.
There were just 18 kids when the Beeping Egg project started 5 years ago. Now at least 40 take part. Detective Ryan Catcher says seeing the kids and how they respond to an Easter egg hunt designed to include them has been emotional.
I've seen kids their first year being very timid and needing help and guidance, to the second year where they've been able to go out by themselves, do it on their own, gaining that independence and that confidence and having the fun themselves. And we get to see that, and we get to see the change in their life.
The Beeping Egg project is funded by the Edmonton Police Foundation, which relies on donations for this and other community projects.
To utilize the unique skill sets of the Edmonton Police service members and to connect them to community. Policing just isn't about just enforcement, but it is about compassion, service, and serving the community and connecting one another.
Registration for this year's Beeping Easter Egg Hunt can be done through the CNIB. It's happening at TELUS World of Science on March 28th. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Mounties are looking for help with a fatal crash investigation in northern Alberta last month. They released dash cam images of a black Ford F-150. Police say the truck passed a semi that was hauling lumber in bad weather and forced the semi into a head-on collision course with another semi hauling petroleum. The rig avoided the pickup and rolled in the ditch. The semi-driver later died. The pickup driver did not stop. It happened near Smoky River, February the 18th. Mounties want to hear from anyone with information. The provincial government is putting more money towards reducing tailings ponds. $46 million will be divided among several recipients. The money is meant to advance oil sands mine water management and tailings pond reclamation. The Environment Minister says tailings ponds were never meant to be a permanent solution, and new technology is being used to clean water and reclaim land.
This funding is going to 9 real-world projects that will make a real difference. This includes technologies to help filter and reuse water, reducing how much water gets stored in tailings ponds, and it includes technologies to treat and remove chemicals from the mine water.
CNRL, Imperial, and Suncor are among the companies that will receive portions of the funding. Coming up, getting ready to hit the ice.
We're going to make Canada proud, and we're excited to showcase the game.
Canada's Paralympic hockey team hoping to inspire a new generation of players. And
the sound waves from the explosion were actually recorded by our seismographs.
Seismologists and astronomers weigh in on a big boom in Metro Vancouver.
Oh, the big melt should start over the next couple of days. Just slightly above zero tomorrow, but then at least a handful of degrees above zero for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All those details right after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Canada's para-hockey team is in Italy ahead of the 2026 Paralympic Games. The team features a number of people with Alberta roots who are hoping to inspire the next generation of players. CTV's Evan Kenny has more.
Been playing ever since, and I'm not slowing down.
Alana Ma knew sledge hockey was her sport the first time she hit the ice at 7 years old.
It just felt so freeing, and I was just ripping around on the ice, and it was never anything I've ever done before. So it was such a love at first sight.
With the speed and physicality,
and just the intensity of the game, I think people, if they aren't aware, it's very similar to the regular stand-up game of hockey.
All of that will be on full display starting Friday at the Paralympics.
We're going to make Canada proud, and we're excited to showcase the game.
Boris Rybolka has coached more than 1,000 regular hockey games. He joined Canada's national para-hockey team 3 years ago.
And it wasn't catching me off guard, but impressed me, was what shape they're in. They are top-notch athletes, like world-class athletes.
Hockey Canada is working to grow the game. He says it's organizing para-hockey programs across the country to set up the next generation.
Any young athlete, the aspirations of, you know what, I want to put the maple leaf on and play for my country, well, they're going to start learning at a young age, so they have that opportunity to be able to play for their country.
Inspiring local players and organizations.
It's nice to see like what you can do or how far you can go in the sport.
Players would like to see a women's division added to the Paralympics in 2030. The men kick off the tournament Saturday. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, we know the warm-up's coming, but there are some exciting numbers out there floating around that have definitely caught people's attention for the weekend.
Don't get too excited. You want to tell the folks at home what you texted me earlier today?
17 for Saturday? 17. Somebody out there legitimate is saying it. Josh disagrees, unfortunately. Wait,
aggressive. It seems aggressive. I mean, temperatures are certainly going to be in the mid to high teens across southern parts of the province. I think there's a chance we get to double digits. At this point, I'm pretty skeptical we're going to get that warm. I've got 8 in the forecast with a chance of getting to 10 or 11. It's minus 11 in Edmonton right now. River Valley Skycam is brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed Rider, it's free. A little bit of clearing out there. We'll see the clouds come back, though. It looks like overnight tonight. And then for tomorrow, pretty similar to today. Mix of sun and cloud to cloudy with a few sunny breaks. Minus 19, your daytime high in Fort McMurray. You're going to see a big warm up tomorrow. Should be up around minus 3 tomorrow. Minus 11 in Grand Prairie. Red Deer got to minus 10. And again, Jasper was above 0, but only 3 instead of the 7s and 8s that you've had the past couple of days. You can see not bad. Broken skies from about Edmonton off to the north. Further south, it's been pretty overcast. And there's that one little pocket of snow that's still kicking around off to the southwest of the Edmonton area, around Drayton Valley. That'll fall apart before it hits the city. So just some increased cloud cover through this evening and overnight tonight in Edmonton. Further north, you probably get a centimeter or 3 of snow here for areas, especially just off to the south of Fort McMurray. It looks like this kind of dances around Fort McMurray. You'll get some flurries or some light snow, but I don't think it's going to be as heavy there as it will be for areas just south here in Edmonton. Again, mixed sun and cloud to mostly cloudy skies for tomorrow. Further to the south through the foothills, Red Deer region, you might see some flurries or some light snow late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. I think the next best chance for some snow here in Edmonton comes Friday morning. You can see this little pocket that goes through. Nothing heavy, but a chance of some light snow to start the day before the sun breaks out in the afternoon. This is the big story, not so much the precipitation. Cold air in the blue here off to the east and northeast of the Edmonton area. Warmer today off to the west in the greens. Look at how that green zone stretches east tomorrow. So we're back above 0, 2 or 3 for a daytime high. There's Friday. Here's Saturday. Now, temperatures in that yellow zone are up around 15 to 20 for daytime highs. You see how far south that is. Here in Edmonton, you're probably going to see that forecast that's calling for 17 today. You're going to see that change a couple times between now and Saturday. Sunday, a little cooler than Saturday. Monday, we're back below 0 for a daytime high. And after Monday, we start a string of days where we're in the minus 3 to minus 8 range. So warm in the short term, and then a little cool down on the way for next week. It's minus 11 in Edmonton right now. A little cooler, minus 15 to minus 20 across east central and northeastern Alberta. And that's where the strongest wind has been through the course of the day today. So it's been feeling close to minus 30. And still, that's the case in Lloydminster and Fort McMurray. Light wind for us here in the city, minus 13 later on tonight. We'll get to about 2, maybe 3 for a daytime high tomorrow afternoon. Mighty Millions lottery bonus prize deadline is midnight Friday. You could win that Porsche Cayenne or $120,000 cash. Go to mightymillionslottery.com. Definitely time change this weekend. Definitely warmer this weekend. Mid-teens, again, I'm skeptical, but well above average.
Thank you, Josh. In Metro Vancouver, all the talk is about a big bang last night. A flash of light followed by a boom that shook windows. CTV's St. Alexander has more on the fireball that thrilled and puzzled people from Vancouver Island all the way down to Seattle.
When a guest of the supersonic variety suddenly drops in on Metro Vancouver, this is what it sounds like. Just after 9 o'clock Tuesday, the night sky lit up. Then, nothing. Not for a couple of minutes. Until...
Felt a large boom. It sounded like an explosion.
Searched the house, upstairs, downstairs, didn't know, looked outside.
The public, puzzled, called the police, not sure if there'd been an accident, an earthquake.
The sound waves from the explosion were actually recorded by our seismographs.
For such a big bang, somehow, some didn't hear a thing.
Not till I got home and talked to my husband. He said, boy, you should have heard this boom last night.
Well, who heard it?
I did.
And who didn't?
We did not.
Now, BC's surprise visitor was a meteoroid, roughly 10 to 100 centimeters large. Big enough, say astronomers, to be considered a fireball, or what's known as a bolide.
They come in with so much energy, hitting the atmosphere, the denser parts of the atmosphere causes the rock to just break apart.
They begin to vaporize, melt, and dump an astounding amount of energy.
We just heard like a big boom, and then like our front door was shaking.
You know when you feel a large boom and it just reverberates in your body?
Meteors are constantly bombarding the Earth, so it's not that unusual. The treat is that it was big enough that we got to see it and hear it as far away as Washington State. Now, it's possible some pieces survived and may have landed around Whistler or Pemberton.
However, it's a very mountainous area, and I don't expect any pieces to be recovered.
It was very nice this morning to figure out what that sound was.
Anyone who missed it needn't worry. Another cosmic guest will drop by soon enough. We just won't know when. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still ahead on CTV News at 6, air, land, and sea.
The Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated. Pick your adjective.
Historic strikes as more countries are dragged into Middle Eastern war. And
tick, tick, tick. And he's like, well, have this one, but, the Pinot Grigio. And I'm like,
an unusually candid conversation with Mark Carney.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
NATO member Turkey is now in Iran's crosshairs. Iran is also taking aim at other Arab nations with U.S. bases and diplomatic missions as it continues to be bombarded by the U.S. and Israel. CTV's Adrian Gobriel reports from Istanbul.
Pulled from the waters along the southern coast of Turkey, this is the remains of a NATO interceptor missile that knocked an Iranian attack out of the sky. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan saying his country is in close consultation with NATO allies while warning Iran a similar incident cannot occur again. In Iran, thunderous explosions echoed across the besieged nation as Israeli forces confirm they've begun a 10th wave of strikes, with U.S. forces hitting deeper into the country. In the 5 days since this war broke out, more than 1,000 people have been killed in Iran, according to a U.S.-based human rights organization. In Lebanon, smoldering debris sends smoke billowing into the sky in Beirut, where the IDF has vowed to uproot Iranian-backed Hezbollah after it launched strikes into Israel.
The numbers are increasing. We have more than 80,000 people, including 24,000 children, forcibly displaced in Lebanon. Many were still displaced since the previous escalation.
This video shared by the U.S. Department of Defense showing the moment a U.S. submarine sank an Iranian warship. The bodies of some 80 sailors reported dead at sea, located by rescuers along the southern coast of Sri Lanka. With 3 other NATO nations, Greece, Britain, and France, sending naval and Air Force personnel to Cyprus following Iranian drone attacks there, this expanding conflict has reached new shores. With war on the horizon, a sunset call to prayer preaches peace in a region and a world where tonight it's in very short supply.
The attempted missile strike here in Turkey makes this the 11th country targeted by Iran since this war began. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Istanbul.
The Pentagon says Operation Epic Fury is still in its early days as the U.S. military prepares to ramp up its war with Iran. CTV's Joy Melvin has more from Washington.
With the sinking of an Iranian naval ship in the Indian Ocean, the U.S. military says it has hit more than 20 Iranian ships and 2,000 targets. The Secretary of War couldn't help but boast.
The Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated. Pick your adjective. They are toast, and they know it.
Pete Hegseth declared America is winning, and Iran can't outlast the U.S. With more warplanes arriving in the region, the Pentagon claims it will completely control Iranian airspace soon, warning of an even bigger wave of attacks to come.
We will now begin to expand inland, striking progressively deeper into Iranian territory and creating additional freedom of maneuver for U.S. forces.
The conflict was supposed to last just a few days, but President Donald Trump says it could be a month or longer. The White House insists this isn't about regime change, so why attack now?
47 years they've been killing our people and killing people from all over the world, and I think we have great support, and I think if we didn't do it first, they would have done it to Israel and give us a shot if that was possible.
With the war widening, involving multiple countries now, it's not quite a MAGA mutiny, but some key Trump supporters are raising some serious questions.
It's pretty clear that we're not going to gain anything more. And how do we know that? Because no one has explained what we're there to gain.
Meantime, both the House and Senate will hold votes this week. Some lawmakers want to limit President Trump's war powers, but it's not expected to go anywhere. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
More than 103,000 Canadians are now registered with Global Affairs Canada in the Middle East. Those seeking to return to Canada have a difficult path, and unlike many allies, Canada has not made plans to charter flights home. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
For the last 6 weeks, Glenn Williams traveled the world. He thought his layover in Kuwait, a country he had never visited, would only be for a few days. Then the conflict began, and instead of flying home Sunday, he found himself stranded.
We do hear the sirens a lot during the day, but I mean, it's overall fairly calm. I can't say it's been crazy. I think the biggest part is just like the unknown. We're not sure when the airspace will reopen.
Williams is one of more than 103,000 Canadians currently registered in the region. Global Affairs Canada is not currently offering assisted departures, but the department says it is working on a range of options to support the potential departure of Canadians from several countries in the Middle East.
I am on the phone night and day with my counterparts in the region to ensure that we are providing the utmost support for Canadians in need.
While no evacuation flights are currently planned, Ottawa says it has asked Oman to use their airspace if necessary. Israel has arranged buses to a border crossing with Egypt where commercial planes are still flying. And in Lebanon, seats have been secured for Canadians on certain commercial flights.
Publicly, we may not say much, but behind the scenes, I think there is some conversation going on about potential exit avenues.
With experts saying it will likely be some time before flights resume.
It would be nice to get back home.
Canadians like Williams are trying to stay patient while they wait for news from the airlines or from the government.
Seems like the Canadian government, not in any bad way, but has said, kind of fend for yourselves and hunker down.
But it's not just Canadian travelers in the Middle East who are impacted. It's Canadians around the world who had layovers in the region canceled indefinitely. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Cuba's ongoing energy crisis has left about two-thirds of the country without power. The blackout has hit the western side of the country, including the capital of Havana. The island nation's power supply has become even more tenuous after the U.S. stopped oil shipments from Venezuela, Cuba's main oil supplier, and threatened sanctions on any other nations looking to provide Cuba with oil. This blackout could last up to 3 days. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Australia addressing Parliament and having a frank conversation and giving more candid insights into his conversations with U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports from Sydney.
You don't want to say anything in public that you can't back up.
At a fireside chat at a top Australian think tank, Prime Minister Mark Carney pulled back the curtain on dealing with world leaders, starting with Donald Trump.
It's quite different in private. It's much more. He is more interested in your viewpoint on various things.
While he said Chinese President Xi Jinping spent 10 minutes in his first meeting discussing how he wanted personal interactions to go.
I interpret it. Don't lecture me in public. Bring issues to me directly.
And when he said central bankers have more fun than prime ministers, illustrated by a story about mixing a time-crunched decision with top European wines, Carney used the F word.
You know, tick, tick, tick. And he's like, well, have this one, but, you know, the Pinot Grigio. And I'm like, and then he finishes it and he says, okay, listen, we have an hour.
Earlier in the day, Carney held a series of meetings and announced a deal to further investments by pension funds in both Australia and Canada. Australia has had trouble entering Canada's market.
I think we've struggled to find the opportunities, and this dialogue is in part about unlocking those opportunities. So as they look to private capital, we really want to be at the front of the queue.
It's no longer what or why, it's how. And that's what the Prime Minister is fixing here, is the how to make sure that they can invest more in Canada. This is good.
And that's music to the ears of this recently retired Canadian couple on holiday in Australia.
So I would love to see more diversification with equal-minded, similar-minded folks like the Australians. That's just a no-brainer.
Canada's Prime Minister will next address Australia's Parliament and meet with their Cabinet and Prime Minister. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Sydney.
Still ahead, not pumped about rising gas prices.
It'll hit everything, like you said, and I expect inflation at 3.5% by the end of the year.
How the global conflict with Iran is pushing oil prices higher, also ahead. Port of Churchill inks a deal with one of the world's largest hubs. Checking on the markets, the Canadian dollar closed near 73 cents U.S. Oil was up 10 cents, closing the day at $74.66 U.S. a barrel. Gold was up an even $11 on the day. The TSX and Dow Jones both made gains, up 157 points and 238. War in Iran is causing market volatility around the world, and now Canadian drivers are feeling it at the pumps, with the average price of gas up nearly 9 cents from the week before. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
Sticker shock at the pump, with prices soaring across the country overnight.
It'll hit everything, like you said, and I expect inflation at 3.5% by the end of the year.
According to GasBuddy.com, drivers in BC and PEI are paying the most, an average of 161.9 cents a litre in BC and 154.2 cents a litre in PEI. Quebec is seeing prices around 152 cents per litre, while Ontario is averaging 136.6 a litre. The lowest prices are in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta.
The longer this conflict goes, the greater the likelihood the price will reach levels that are extraordinarily uncomfortable for most Canadians.
20% of all oil traded passes through the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, which Iran controls. Tanker traffic has been disrupted, while energy facilities have been attacked. In addition to rising gas prices, the price of diesel has also climbed, which will have a knock-on effect on basically every aspect of the economy.
Without diesel, you don't run your economy, your military, your agriculture, your mining, your forestry. Yes, your transportation, and that doesn't just stop at trucks. It also goes into aviation.
And despite being an energy-rich nation, experts say Canadians are unlikely to see any relief at the pumps, as efforts to scale up oil and gas production cannot be done overnight. It's something that doesn't sit well with Luka Mahalik.
The problem is they should have done something 10 years ago, not today. Today, what can you do?
There are concerns the conflict in the Middle East will have an impact similar to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine 4 years ago, when the price of a barrel of oil jumped by 20%. There is more oil at play in this conflict, but analysts say it all depends on how long the war lasts. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
American pharma giant Moderna has agreed to pay more than $2 billion U.S. to settle a patent dispute over its COVID-19 vaccine. The deal resolves all legal actions accusing Moderna of using a vaccine delivery technology owned by 2 other companies without permission. A string of similar patent lawsuits have also been filed against Pfizer and several other drug makers. The Port of Churchill has signed an agreement with one of the biggest cargo shipping facilities in the world to collaborate on the port's design. The Canadian port will join forces with the Belgian Port of Antwerp-Bruges on business development as well as future trade plans. A multi-billion-dollar expansion is planned at the site in northern Manitoba. It's one of the projects the Liberal government has declared to be in the national interest. He's one of Canada's best-known exports, celebrated around the world for his comedy. Now, Mike Myers is set to receive a big honor here at home.
Actually, my name is Austin Powers.
It says here, name Danger Powers.
No. Danger's my middle name.
Winter and construction.
Myers will receive the Icon Award at the Canadian Screen Awards. The award is presented to someone who has made an exceptional contribution to the media industry at home or abroad. The award show airs May 31st. Bryan Adams will be waking up the neighbors in Red Deer this summer. Making a stop in Red Deer September 10th as part of his cross-country tour. Roll with the Punches checks into the Marchant Crane Centrium at Westerner Park. Ticket sales begin Friday at 10. Special guest Lights will join Adams on this tour. There's only one other stop in Alberta on this tour. That's Lethbridge, September 8th. Still ahead from player to coach to referee.
I never liked referees at all. I didn't like them. I thought they were unfair, unjust, didn't know what they were doing. But when I became one, I became more appreciative of the job that they do.
Now he's on the hunt for a new title as a world record holder. We'll explain next.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
A Saskatchewan basketball official is attempting to ref his name into the Guinness Book of World Records. CTV's Donovan Mace explains.
In this Regina gym, an elementary girls basketball game has become one part of a potential Guinness World Record, but not due to the performance of any player. Aptly known as Big Mike, Michael Martirana runs up and down the floor at the spry age of 80 as he attempts to be the oldest active basketball official in the world.
I love basketball, and that's what it is.
Growing up on the streets of the Bronx, New York, basketball has been in Martirana's life for more than 7 decades.
We played almost every day.
He continued to hoop well into his 50s.
That's a good call. You're making a
foul in number 11.
As a former teacher and high school coach, he didn't start his career as a referee until almost his 60s.
I never liked referees at all. I didn't like them. I thought they were unfair, unjust, didn't know what they were doing. But when I became one, I became more appreciative of the job that they do.
Attempting the world record, his daughter's idea.
And she said, "Dad, how are your knees?" I said, "They're okay. I've had 2 knee surgeries, replacements, right? And your legs?" I go, "Yeah, still fairly strong."
To earn the title, he has had to confirm his age with Guinness and provide proof he is working official games through game sheets and video.
The last requirement they said to me was, "We want you to do 1 game a month with the basketball for the entire basketball season. That's all, 1 game a month." Easy peasy, I can do that.
The job is a labor of love for the veteran official. He's quick to offer advice and encouragement in game to the young players.
If there was, 3 seconds in the key, he tells them what they did, and he takes the time to help the kids learn and grow.
Those are fouls?
These are fouls. No.
And now finds the most joy in mentoring younger referees like JL.
I don't think anyone would be able to beat his record for a long time, so I think he's a one-of-a-kind kind of ref.
Passing along his decades of knowledge to the next generation.
This helps somebody. This helps people, kids, especially the kids. I really care about them becoming better.
And 1 month out from his 81st birthday, Martirana has no plans to hang up the whistle anytime soon.
And someone said to me, "Well, if you get the Guinness Book of World Records and next year you come back and you do it, you can break your own record." I never thought about that. I didn't think about it in those terms. I said, well, I'll just keep doing it as long as I can do it.
Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
Back above zero tomorrow. Should get to around 2 or 3 degrees in the afternoon. Cloudy with a few sunny breaks. And then 5 Friday. Chance of some flurries in the morning. No heavy snow, though. 8, maybe up to 10 on Saturday. And then clocks spring forward 1 hour as daylight saving time takes effect. And again, nice and warm for Sunday with a high of about 4 degrees. Chance of flurries late in the day on Sunday as well.
All right, it's going to be a fun weekend. Thank you, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, check out our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca.